Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of issues right now in Israel and I'm kind of surprised how they want to solve it. So I did a background check to fact check myself before I start speaking. I went to The Guardian, I went to Daily Mail, I went to BBC, I went to CNN, and finally I ended in Jerusalem Post. So these people are Eritrean in Africa. They were supposedly part of Ethiopia and they got their independence. Didn't even know they existed, if I have to be honest. So this is what The Guardian is saying. The Israel Prime Minister has said that he wants Eritreans involved in a violent clash in Tel Aviv to be deported immediately and has ordered plan to remove all countries' African asylum seekers. In CNN they did not make it clear, but in BBC they did. It is estimated that there are about 1,800 asylum seekers from Eritrea in Israel, most of whom arrived illegally years ago by crossing Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. They say they fled danger, prosecution, and compulsory military conscription in one of the world's most repressive countries. And at Daily Mail they said supporters and opponents of African countries' regimes smashed up shops, windows, and police cars while Israel riots officers fired tear gas, stun grenades, and live rounds. Some people have passed away. We don't know if it's the cops, we don't know if the other, cops are shooting, might be possible, but hey, they're throwing rocks. And if you get a rock in your head, amen, it's done. And now we're going to Jerusalem Post because they have info nobody else have. Protesters claim they have contacted the police numerous times and tried to prevent the embassy from holding an event of their own people. Fighting broke out between the pro-government and anti-government protesters as well as police Saturday afternoon. Anti-government protesters long complained about the embassy attempts to monitor and track refugees from Eritrea. Ongoing dispute in Israel government over refugee and asylum status has been cited by protesters as a part of rationale for the riot. So it seems people are making like the riot is happening because Israel is in between. I'm like, okay, that seems horrible. Last week, the Swiss newspaper St. Galler Tagblatt reported that the Eritrean embassy has been sending spies disguised as refugees to extort money from refugees. The paper reported multiple stories of people who had fled the country being tracked down and threatened to pay back the debts or taxes they owed back home. One woman who fled with her young daughter was sent a picture of her daughter on the way to school tagged with the phrase, "We know everything, you have debt in your country." This is related to the dysphoria tax levied on citizens living abroad. Eritrea has been often called the North Korea of Africa for its draconian and totalitarian regime. The country has been ruled by President Isaias Afwerki since the early 1990s, with Eritrea gained independence from Ethiopia. Afwerki has imprisoned and killed many of its political opponents. Conscription into military is mandatory, with all citizens, men and women, being required to serve. Unlike in Israel or other countries with mandatory conscription has been indefinite. Conscription could be military or civilian, but the only way out is for women who marry and have children. Sickness, disability, or good connections can also be ways to be discharged. The UN has compared the system to forced labor or slavery. And normally I would side with the people, but when you come from a country where man or woman, you don't even have a choice unless you do things they want, I'm like, yeah, our country's not in a good state. We escape from the Ethiopian people. You stay owe us money. And I'm like, yo, of course you might get a divide of certain people that are kind of dragon-like and the other that just escape the dragon life. And I'm like, hey, because now Israel is like, you know what? I don't care about this. I don't care about UN. I'm gonna throw everybody. Because you cannot come here when we're helping you, when we have enough enemies around us, and suddenly you wanna fight in our backyard? Nah. And I think the solution is too broad. But yeah, if you're going to fight in the capital of the city, when not even your own people can join together and work as a team because your country is so split, I can understand why you don't want people to be fighting in your own backyard. I would help a family, but if I know two brothers are fighting consistently, I will not have you in my house. And I know everybody has a human right, but you don't have a human right to be fighting in my backyard and destroying and accidentally hit my son. But who knows? At least now you know what is happening, and I wish Israel and the people from Eritrea good luck, because if they can't handle their business, I don't think Israel wants it to be their business. Most countries don't even have that privilege, but most countries are not having illegals from a very draconian city and people fighting in the backyard. That's a totally different thing. But hey, that's the info. If it was informative, let me know. See you guys in the next one. Peace.